Ethiopia remains under emergency rule, which includes a clampdown on everything, even the media. But the new information minister, Negeri Lencho, is of a different mind. He says he's committed to developing a vibrant media scene. He told foreign media, we cannot build democracy without vibrant media, without public participation, without tolerance and stability. The current state of emergency means that watching of certain TV channels broadcast from abroad has been banned. There are also concerns it will restrict the freedom of press. The VOA's Henok Fente joins us now from Washington. Henok, I'm glad you could join us on Network Africa.
Thank you for having me, Amarachi. It's a pleasure.
So how is the emergency rule going from what you're hearing back home?
Now, it's been going for about a month now, and we've been covering it day in, day out. Now, there's a command post that's been set up by the Prime Minister, and this is a military command post that's in charge of governance and administration, school administration, and some functions of government. Now, what we're hearing is, and what we're seeing is, we're not seeing any of the massive demonstrations that were taking place in the Amhara regions in the south and in the northwest in Gondar. So security seems to be calm.
Talk to us about the press, Henok. Is press freedom worse now under the emergency rule?
Well, press freedom was, Ethiopia is ranked amongst the worst jailers of journalists. And in fact, last year, Ethiopia ranked #1, followed by Egypt, for a country that imprisons journalists. So Ethiopia never had a clear press freedom record, but under this state of emergency, human rights groups are saying this provides security officials a blanket authority to crack down on free speech. The government and the newly set up military command post has banned watching satellite television broadcasts such as ISAT and the Oromo Media Network. A number of reporters are being arrested that we've been reporting on. So the situation was bad, and it's rather getting more bleak now in Ethiopia as far as press freedom goes.
And it seems a contrast for the government to reshuffling of the cabinet and appointing someone who supports free press, free media, and, as he put it, a vibrant media.
Well, he's a journalism professor who's a member of the ruling party, and he's a member of the parliament that is controlled by the ruling party 100%. Even though he comes from a journalism professor background, here is a person that you have at the helm of communications in Ethiopia, who grew in the rank and file of the administration. So it remains to be seen. It's not about individuals also in Ethiopia. There seems to be a central message from security officials as well as people running government that press freedom is not their ideology. The ideology the government follows is revolutionary democracy, and it's far away from liberal standards and rules that include press freedom. So it remains to be seen what the contribution of Negeri Banti. I don't see it being really an important step, because it's not about individual ministries or ministers. It's about a system.
Yeah, it sounds like that. But with the clampdown of foreign stations, what sort of media exists in Ethiopia then?
Well, right now, there has always been the print media, and the reason for that being educated people in Ethiopia, close to, I could be wrong, 65% of the people cannot read and write. So broadcast media is vital, and that's mainly controlled by the government, or it is entertainment stations that, analyze the English Premier League, or Hollywood, if you will. So analyzing stories, policy, and politics that affects the lives of people in Ethiopia does not exist in the broadcasting sense, but there is a few independent print newspapers that publish in English and in Amharic, and they have very limited circulation. And so that is the state of the media. And for example, as far as free speech goes, reporters covering Ethiopia, especially within Ethiopia, have been having a hard time trying to get interviews from opposition party members. Opposition party members are afraid to talk because there is a stipulation in the emergency rule that says giving interviews to media such as ISAT, OM, and others is illegal. So it makes it very difficult for journalists to do their jobs, to collect information, to disseminate information, and that's being curtailed systematically under this state of emergency.
Really, really hard to be a journalist in Ethiopia. Thanks a lot, Henok, for bringing us up to speed.
Thank you for having me.
Now, South Africa, South Sudan's former vice president's problems keep piling up. His spokesperson was in Kenya. Not only had he had his visa cancelled, he was also deported back to South Sudan. Migrant Dak was reportedly deported to South Sudan's capital, Juba, yesterday evening. Kenya took the decision following comments Gatdet posted on Facebook that supported the sacking of a Kenyan commander who was the head of the UN peacekeeping mission in South Sudan. Lieutenant General Kimani Ondieki was dismissed on Tuesday after a UN report revealed that its troops had failed to help aid workers after their compound was attacked in July. Riek Machar is not finding this funny. He's condemned the action, saying it violates the Geneva Convention. He even says Gattet was arrested by Kenyan authorities on Wednesday at his residence and was deported to South Sudan's capital, Juba, where he was then taken into custody by the National Security Service. He said he had contacted Kenyan leaders to get him released. The UN has confirmed at least 240 migrants have drowned off the coast of Libya in the last 24 hours, possibly as an unintended consequence of European efforts to stop people smugglers and to train Libyan coast guards. 5 rescue ships coordinated by the Italian Coast Guard were within sight of the migrants, but despite attempts to rescue them, many died, according to the International Organization for Migration. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, said he was deeply saddened by another tragedy, and many lives could have been saved, he says, if European countries volunteer to take in more refugees rather than leaving them to make the risky boat trip. The IOM's Italy spokesperson says migrant arrivals in Italy surged to 27,388 in October. That's more than the 2 previous Octobers combined, bringing the total number for this year to more than 158,000.